Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2CTV, your global news channel. I'm Maya Tusi and this is your latest news update, this time from the Middle East. Tonight, Israel is under attack by the Islamists with the order coming from the Islamic Republic of Iran, using the Houthis as well from Yemen to launch major attacks on the Jewish nation. And of course, we're going to give you guys the latest update. This is an ongoing situation as we speak, of course, and we're going to give you guys everything else that's been going on over the last few hours to keep you up to date with all the nonsense in the Middle East and the mayhem that's been caused by different groups of Islamists. We got the Islamic Jihad involved, we got Hamas involved, we got the Houthis from Yemen involved, you got the IRGC involved from different sections. There was a terrorist attack in Israel earlier, which we're going to talk about. And of course, if you're watching this live, we will get your reaction in the live chat and in the comment section. First things first, let's show you guys the map of Israel. These are the red alerts across the country, especially in the central part of Israel, and of course even close to Jerusalem. We have a number of videos which we're going to show you guys because things have been kicking off and the Iron Dome is fully activated. This is a sharp nail falling after the interception by the Iron Dome. The main area that this video we're going to show you is actually near Jerusalem. Sirens were sounding across the central part of Israel. For the record, this is the sixth time that we've had the Islamists, obviously the Houthis from Yemen, attacking this week alone. Let's quickly go to the first video, and we're going to show you the next clips because some of the people's in Israel's weddings have been interrupted because of this.
הנה הטיל. הנה הטיל. או שזה יירוט. ושומעים כמובן את הבומים.
Now the interceptions continue by the Israeli defense systems. As we said, weddings, there's a wedding in Israel that was actually interrupted and everybody had to run away and go into their shelter. Let's quickly go to that one, and then we're going to give you guys the latest information on what's actually been happening around that.
לא, אבל יש לנו... הנה, הנה, אתה רואה את המציל פוגש טיל? וואו! הם ברחו לשתי כיוונים. רגע. אני לא יודעת.
And there's another clip as well from the wedding itself, as more people were trying to get themselves to the shelter. Obviously in Israel they're kind of used to this sort of thing anyway, but it's still disgusting that plans get ruined.
שאני מצלם, לא קרה כלום. לאן הולכים?
קח את הזמן.
הנה, פה.
אז למה להגיד?
So over the last few minutes, the Houthis in Yemen and the Islamic Republic of Iran leaders, the IRGC, have confirmed this and taken responsibility. The order came from Tehran, as they are claiming, and the equipment and rockets being used from Yemen, the proxy of the IRGC, has been launched with the support of the Iranian regime. As I said, this is confirmed by the leadership of the Houthis and the IRGC. Obviously, all the bombings on Israel is ordered by the Islamic Republic. That's quite clear, but sometimes it's indirect, sometimes it's direct, and that is one of the tiny differences that we have. We have the latest image as well in terms of the red alert that's still going around in Israel. You can see on the right hand side Jerusalem, and the top left Tel Aviv. all that's covered. Obviously, the Israeli defense system is very good. And if it weren't, the whole country would be wiped out because it's not really a big country. So despite what the mainstream media would say about the imperialism of Israel and the colonialism, the Islamic side continues to grow, and Israel actually shrinks compared to what they've had before. We have a number of people watching this from Israel in the live chat. We're going to get your reaction as well. We have to talk about what happened earlier today as well, because there was another terrorist attack in the Tishbe Junction in the northern parts of Israel. This was a Palestinian who rammed into a bus stop, essentially. There was a 20-year-old man, and he got out and stabbed him, leaving him in serious injuries. He then started opening fire with an M16 at random cars. Unfortunately, a 75-year-old man was shot and killed by this Palestinian. This man was sitting beside his son. Good news is the Palestinian terrorist was eliminated by the Israeli police force, who happened to be in the area. We do have a video which we can actually show you from the moment that the police they were hunting him down, and they successfully managed to eliminate him. Let's go to it. Yes, there is there are people correcting, saying that was actually not M. They're saying it's M4, not M16. Okay, well, I'll double check that. Thanks for that, Brian, as well. We'll double check that. Apologies, but we have to talk about the operation against the terrorists. The latest that we have is that the IDF managed to capture 30 Palestinian terrorists during the operations in Tel Sultan area of Rafah in the southern parts of Gaza. Another successful mission. The Israeli Defense Forces have been acting very quickly over the last couple of days. Over the last few days, obviously starting from the northern part, then they split the actual Gaza Strip, and then they decided to do a limited operation in Rafah to take control of parts of it, to ensure that there is no Islamist group successfully regrouping, whether it's Hamas or the Palestinian Jihad or this or that. They're all as bad as each other. Now, in regards to the operation overall, there was yet another targeted attack on a Hamas convoy. This was actually the Israelis said that they successfully hit over 100 pickup trucks that was used by Hamas in coordinated airstrikes across Gaza today. The vehicles were tied to the October the 7th invasion of Israel, and these were the same trucks that were used during the propaganda ceremonies that they were doing in Gaza when they were releasing the hostages. And some of these trucks were stored inside buildings, according to the IDF, and were hit in the strikes in every region in Gaza. So that's another major victory for the Israeli Defense Forces. There was a bit of a controversy earlier today because while the Islamists are attacking Israel, the IDF, they have to do their own operation, obviously, but both in Judea and Samaria, or the West Bank, and in Gaza as well. Because one of the main issues we have is that they want to distract the Israelis, saying, well, no, we're going to attack you so that you don't actually have time to do anything in Gaza. The IDF have the capacity. They managed to take out another Islamist. There was a whole outrage earlier saying that Israel is targeting journalists. So everyone was like, whoa, what's going on here? The Israelis are targeting journalists? That wasn't a thing before. And they say, yes, it was an Al Jazeera journalist. And I was like, okay, we have to do some homework because this doesn't sound normal unless it was an accident, right? We heard this update earlier today that the Israeli Defense Forces eliminated an Al Jazeera journalist that goes with the name of Hassan Shabat today. Then we discovered that obviously a lot of the terrorists happen to be very good at multitasking. And they have multiple jobs, as some of you already know. Some of them work in Pallywood. Some of them are paramedics and terrorists. Some of them are Hamas members and journalists. And we discovered, yes, actually, that's the same situation with this guy. The reason they do this is so that they could use themselves as a shield, saying, hey, I'm just a civilian, until you do your homework. All right, so let's talk about this so-called journalist. Hassam, he's marching beside the bodies of the Bibas family, claiming that they were prisoners killed by American missiles. He's calling baby Kafir Bibas, a hostage infant, a prisoner. So, obviously in the photo, he's still got the press vest, right? Well, it goes beyond that. Firstly, he was actually at the ceremony when the hostages were released. This is Keith Siegel. He actually said that Keith is in a perfect health and in full elegance. After over a year of torture and captivity, that's what he claims, right? It gets worse because this isn't really just about his propaganda. We have more evidence. Here, he's standing proudly amongst the Hamas members, actually the other terrorists as well, which is kind of normal for him. And given everything, obviously his language and his alignment and his presence among the known terrorists, the way he was supporting Hamas, he's not an ordinary journalist anyway. We already knew that. And Open Source Intel did a great job at exposing this earlier today on social media. But then we were like, okay, so maybe he's just doing propaganda, right? Maybe he's just one of those so-called journalists who actually supports the cause. Nope. It's much worse than that. Not only he's a member of Hamas, he's a professional. He's a sniper. So we now have evidence that Hassam was not just a journalist, he was actually a sniper as part of Hamas in the anti-tank unit of the Beit Hanun battalion, ID number 713064. His job was literally being a sniper. And when he wasn't too busy, he was doing fake journalism for Al Jazeera. Of course, Al Jazeera, funded and controlled by the state of Qatar. We already know that they are supporters of the cause, right? These are the evidence, the documents that we have in terms of the military training, going back to even 2019. So, no, he was not a journalist. He was also an actual terrorist. So, it wasn't the case that the IDF were going around randomly targeting journalists. So over the next few hours and few days, you're going to get the likes of CNN, BBC, and all the others, Al Jazeera, creating this narrative that the Israeli Defense Forces have killed an innocent journalist. Remember this information? Give it to them when they come to you with their lies and propaganda. Now, in case you don't know, on the left, you can see Jackson Hinkle. Jackson Hinkle, wearing a tie, is in Yemen today. And if you don't know Jackson, he is an American communist who has been flip-flopping for a few years. He has a massive following on X. He's a grifter, and he's a national communist. So sort of like National Socialist in Germany, but he's a national communist. The problem with this, he's not actually a nationalist because he's a supporter of the enemies of the West, so the Eastern globalists. So that includes the Chinese Communist Party, the Islamic Republic of Iran, Qatar, Hamas, the Houthis. If he goes back to America, Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, will be arresting him immediately. So he's currently now technically living in Moscow, obviously, but he's decided to go to Yemen. The thing is, I would like this to be true that Jackson actually is a long-term CIA spy, that he's actually started this over a few years ago to trick everybody, saying, yeah, I hate America, right? Oh, I'm against everything in the West. And he's going around shaking hands with Hezbollah members and the Houthis. Imagine if this is a long-term CIA project. I mean, they're not that smart, but if only. Let's quickly go, because he was sitting down with the Houthis, and they were very happy that he was there. It's brilliant.
حياكم الله جميعا واهلا وسهلا بكم شرفتونا وفوق عيوننا ورؤوسنا.
Welcome to all of you. It's my best greetings to all of you, and you are so welcome in our community.
احنا سعداء جدا باللقاء بكم، واليمن يتشرف بوجودكم في اوساطنا، وهذا شرف كبير لنا ولكم جميعا ان احنا نحضر في قضيه مهمه واساسيه وهي قضيه فلسطين.
We are standing an issue all together to support and to stand in solidarity with Palestine.
نحن في اليمن انطلقنا في هذه اللاقيه والانسان
To take this position in support and solidarity with the Palestinian issue out of our moral and religious responsibilities.
Thing is, he might seem like, yeah, this is fine. I belong here. I've already started a cause, but he's really thinking, I've been digging too deep now. I've been digging a hole for myself, and it's becoming a bit of a problem because I've lost my country. I can't go back to America. What did I do? Jackson Hinkle. As I say, imagine if it's some sort of a long-term CIA project and then he's going to get close to Putin. He's going to take him out. That would be an absolutely crazy plot twist. But yeah, that's kind of highly unlikely, right? While we're here, let's get some reaction from you lovely humans. Got Tony from Australia saying, thank you, by the way. I hope Israel finally ends this war once and for all. The followers of Muhammad need to get in their bearded heads that the world doesn't want their toxic ideology. Love to Israel from Australia. Thank you so much. Another super chat saying, only way to stop Islam is to strictly monitor it, expose it, and ban preaching the violent and racist verses as holy teachings. The thing is, the book itself is violent. So if you ask someone whether they believe and follow the book itself, then that that's dangerous. If someone just says I'm Muslim, but they haven't actually read the book, they don't know. M says, Tusi talks utter S. Unfortunately, this M person hasn't provided any evidence, but thank you so much for the feedback. We got another left-wing nationalist troll saying, obviously not a false flag attack to start a war with Iran. No, because the Islamic Republic, the actual supreme leader, the smelly beardy weirdy, that weirdo, Ali Khamenei, and the Houthis, they themselves woke up. They opened their mouths, they recorded videos, they released a speech saying, yes, it's us attacking. It's not some sort of like Israel like doing some sort of attack on themselves, saying, let's blame Iran and the Houthis. And then obviously Iran will say, whoa, that's not us. The Houthis will say the same thing, right? Obviously. But no. Obviously, if you're a left-wing nationalist like this idiot, you won't understand when somebody decides to do something, when they proudly declare that yes, it's me doing it. Obviously, it's them doing it. Idiot. All right, let's go back to some humans. I've got Dan saying, are you watching the protests in Turkey? In fact, Dan, the next update on this channel will be coming from Turkey because it's all kicking off. And Erdogan is losing his mind. Not only has arrested over 1,000 or 1,100 people so far, he's now threatening the European Union, his own allies. Yeah, we're going to explain that later after this live stream. Again, I fully support Israel against these Sunni and Houthi monsters. We are still getting killed by them until this day in Syria. Unfortunately, that's true. Al-Jilani, the man who said he's going to bring peace to Syria, yeah, it's not doing that so much, is it? Construction Loan Limit says that thanks and watching from Tel Aviv. Oh, hello Tel Aviv. I will be there in about a month, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. Again, if you're watching from Israel, we're going to be there in about a month, as I said, and we're going to do a whole documentary about our visit. So if you know anybody, it could be good to interview, whether families of hostages or an ex-hostage or someone who, obviously anybody who's been affected, everybody's been affected with this war, but anybody in the IDF, anyone you know that will be interesting to hear their story, get in touch, send us an email. Obviously the link is in the description, 2c.tv. Get in touch with us and obviously we'll arrange that once we are in the Jewish nation. Let's go back to super chats. We got Natalie saying, truth and facts, bold and clear. 2CTV leads with no fear. I wasn't expecting it to rhyme, but thanks. No spin, no lies, just what's true. The news that matters brought to you. I can confirm I did not pay Natalie to say that, but that's a good one. Thank you for that. Jason says, Al Jazeera and journalist in one sentence seems wrong. Yeah, it's not just that the guy was a sniper for Hamas. I don't think you can call anybody who works for Al Jazeera a journalist. It's like the BBC. So, yeah. I think I should have just stopped there when they said he's a journalist from Al Jazeera, because I think people would have known that he's not actually a journalist. Let's go back to some super chats. Peter says, Jackson is one of those capitalist communists like Hassan Piker. No, he's not a capitalist communist. He's a nationalist communist. There's a massive... You can't be a capitalist communist. It's not a thing. And he hates capitalism. Jackson Hinkle is a member and one of the founders of the... What is that new communist party? The Communist Party of America, right? Or the America... Hang on. What's this called? Jackson Hinkle Communist Party. It's called the American Communist Party. It's kind of very straightforward, right? The American Communist Party, very much obviously against capitalism, but they are nationalists. Well, they say they're nationalists. They're basically just anti-West. So they are supporters of globalists as long as they are Easterners. So China, Iran, and the others. 2CTV, I was against you. You have completely re-educated me. Thank you so much. You're a good friend to this nation. Thank you, but I'm really interested to know when and why you were against me. What did I do? I appreciate that, but I don't know what I did. I know I've done a lot of bad things, but a lot of naughty things. Thank you so much for that. Deborah says, TC's dad is in the chat, everybody. Oh yeah, guys, behave now. My dad is in the chat. Everyone say hello to Amir. Good guy, good son. My dad has got access to VPNs again. Yay. Chris says, 2CTV participates in rallies while also being a journalist. So how can he criticize the Palestinian journalist? Because one is about, like this guy, being a journalist who has done... activism or has been to political events or cultural events, right? And that's allowed. You know, you can be an activist and a journalist, or you can be a former activist and a current journalist. The other one, Christy Bauer, is a journalist for Al Jazeera and a terrorist, like killing people. One is about participating in rallies, speaking, talking nonsense as I normally do. The other one kills babies. Slightly different. I thought it would be kind of straightforward for people, but apparently it's still complicated to understand that terrorism is bad. Coffee and Cake says, is there any more info on Tommy? There's going to be an appeal on his case. We'll find out what's going to happen within the next few weeks. And obviously, we'll keep you guys posted on Tommy Robinson's case. We have Marvin saying... Why not have Norman Finkelstein on? Okay, he can get in touch. That would be great. Love from the US. America. Thank you. Let's get some non-super chats again. I got Terry saying video proof that the guy in uniform does not speak in the ridiculous way he does in his Houthi announcements. That's a very good point. I love how I didn't even notice that. The guy with glasses, the spokesperson for the Houthis, every time he does an announcement, it goes, Islam, Israel. But yeah, he could actually speak like a normal person. You saw him earlier in that video with Jackson. Don't know why he has to shout like that. Funny. Anyway, we have a fake headline saying Iran under attack by Zionists ordered by Israel. I wish that were true, but it's not. So, hopefully soon we can have the headline Iran under attack by Zionists ordered by Israel. And I will put that headline proudly. Go and wipe them out, all of them. All right. Masha says, oh my God, please, not Norman, the anti-Semite. Anyone can come on the channel and I can have a massive debate with them. I don't care. You have the courage to speak the truth. Thanks from the US. We got all the Americans. Thank you guys. Love you all. Unless you're a communist like Jackson, then I don't love you. Linda says, how convenient those journalists were outside the NASA hospital. It's fine. They were all getting their flu jabs. Come on. That's why you go to the hospital. Also, some of them had to go there because the waiting list in the NHS was quite long in the UK. Why does Israel start all the wars? It's literally the opposite. Israel has not started any war since 1948. You, sir, might be a little bit drunk. I advise you to drink some coffee to sober up. Right now, 2CTV is the only European media that I watch. The rest are boring and cannot be trusted. Although I would not consider myself a European media. Obviously, 2CTV is global news channel and also based in the UK, not Europe. But no disrespect to Europe. We love you all as well. But yeah, it's a global channel. Let's see. We have a couple of updates coming in as we speak from the Middle East. The US are now, yes, the United States have started attacking the Houthi-controlled Sada governorate as well. In Yemen, we are waiting for the footage and the statements confirming the severity of the attacks. So this is obviously partly in retaliation to what is happening in Israel tonight. But this is also just as part of the wider operation by the US Navy and the US Air Force that have been targeting the Houthis. Obviously, after what they've done tonight against Israel with the IRGC, we should expect tomorrow, probably tomorrow now at this point, to get a very robust statement, not just from the Israeli government, but also the White House, because the American government did warn the Houthis not to poke the bear. They continue to do it. They are effing around. Now they're going to find out. And President Trump is not going to go lightly. So we will wait until tomorrow to find out what the White House is going to say about this. Misha says, don't mess with Ezra worshippers and Team Jesus. That's good advice as well. Rex says, Tusi talks rubbish. He is a Mossad asset. The problem with this conspiracy theory is that, well, firstly, I wish, because they could give me money, but one thing that we know, and people say, it's a convention, the Mossad are very good. Just like CIA and MI6, they are very professional, right? So, just like FSB as well, because they're professional, they're very good at their job, when they have an asset, you would not be able to tell easily. So they tend to do it in a very covert way. They tend to do it in such a way that is not going to be clear and obvious. Because if it's obvious that somebody is a Mossad agent, then that means Mossad are not good. If somebody is already publicly, for example, supporting the Jews, it doesn't really do much for Mossad. So in fact, the best thing for Mossad to do is to actually have a pro-Palestinian influencer or YouTuber or news channel, so that they could say, hey, yes, I support Palestine. And then they could have some sort of mission, right? They could have some sort of plan to infiltrate the Palestinian side. That will be a good Mossad agent. What you can accuse 2CTV of is, for example, I don't know, a propaganda mouthpiece for the Jews. You could say that. Now that would be a fair accusation, right? Obviously, it's not completely true, but I'm biased towards the Jews. Yes, I support them because I need them to live. Because I support anybody who believes in life and freedom, from the Hindus and Christians to the Jews and, of course, all the others around the world who've been attacked. And if anybody prefers death and misery, and there is one ideology that loves that, let's just say I'm very much against it, and I have a massive phobia. Yes, it's not even that irrational. It's a very rational fear that I have when it comes to Islam. So you could call me Islamophobe if you want. Proud. Sams says, Maya, please do an interview. Why am I doing so many interviews now? So many interview requests. Maybe they show when you're in Israel. Oh yeah, that's part of the Israel thing. Yeah, sure. Yes, as I said, guys, if you send an email to us with contacts, not just suggestions. I mean, I've got my own suggestions, and so many people give me suggestions. But if you could help me with contacts, where to go, who to talk to, that would be great. And Samzi, I'll put that on the list as well. Thank you. Apostle Queen, thank you so much from the United States. And Vinny says, late in, just showing support. Vinny, where have you been? You're so late. Thank you, sir. And super sticker from Omid as well. Gavin says, hey bud, could you consider a format where you just do the report without the live chat? Honestly, don't care for the commentary, thanks. Yes, you can stop the live stream after the reports. Usually that's, if being on TV, you can switch the channel. So obviously the second part of the news is also to get your reaction, guys, especially those who are in Israel. But yeah, you won't have to watch that, don't worry. It's not mandatory. That's a bit from Omid. Let's get back to some non-super chats, get one or two comments. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else from Israel. We got someone Jewish saying Muhammad was Mossad. See, yeah, that could work. That could be a good theory. Brilliant. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly go back and take a break, because we have to return with a massive breaking news coming from Turkey, as Erdogan is losing his mind and is now threatening the European Union. A number of people have been arrested and the protests across the country continues. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya Tusi and we are the media.